live and we're using Restream. I'm hoping it's working. Supposedly, I am streaming to Facebook, 2 pages in Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at the same time. Here's to hoping. Last time it was just a video of me like, is it working? I'm just going to go dive right in and say, yep, there it is. Oh, my LinkedIn came up. Okay, proof that it's working. Yes. The first time I did the Restream, I just felt like kind of flubbing around and I was poking buttons. I didn't know what I was doing. So the big question is, do we just stop there? Like if it gets difficult, do we just stop? No. And if anyone here is interested at all in tiny homes, either for yourself to live in or to put on property for loved ones, whatever the scenario may be, we don't want to stop when things get a little bit difficult, because I will say in this industry that's still totally new and is proving to be the biggest opportunity that the real estate industry, that which is housing all of us around the world, has for transforming the way in which we live. And really, I want to put it under the umbrella of the small house movement. A lot of people have been using the word tiny home, and I get a lot of emails from people saying, hey, my town is looking at doing tiny homes for the homeless. Those are most likely shelters, okay? But they're using the word tiny home because it's a really easy buzzword to connect for the media. If it does not have a kitchen or a bathroom, that is not a tiny home, it is a shelter. And usually areas where people that are unhoused and they're putting together a cluster of these little units, then you're going to have also a separate, dining area as well as a separate bathhouse and toilet house, okay? Those are some of this nature. Some of the homes that may have all full, accommodations, but they're not going to be your luxury tiny home. And when I say luxury tiny home, it's the type of tiny home that we got. We had quartz countertops, steam room shower, a full queen bed in one room in the loft, and also a queen bed up in our gooseneck. So it really depends. And we just got to be a little bit easygoing on the fact that terminology is new in this industry. The other thing is a lot of people want a tinier home, which I like to now call the smaller home movement. They may be 1,000 square feet or less. That's what I really believe is the smaller home approach to real estate. And what's interesting, in the 1950s, the average square foot of a home, a regular home, was 1,000 square feet. If you were to build 1,000 square feet right now in the face of a 2,500 square foot home, that is less than half of the size of a square foot of home right now, right? If it's 3,000, 4,000, you get the point. Let's see, so for people that are like, I want a big home, it's like 400 square feet. And people used to look at our tiny home as a big home. I'm going to do the math right now. We got 400 divided by 2,500. Let's just say that's the median size. We are 16% of the size of a 2,500 square foot home. We're not half, we're not 30, we're only 16% of that bigger home. So now let's say you want a 500 square foot home, and actually the sizes that are median are more like 3,000 square foot. You're still, there we go, 600 divided by 3,000. You're still only 20% of the size of the home. So it's all relative. The reality is, if you want to reduce your housing costs in terms of purchasing, reduce your heating and cooling and all the costs to maintain your home, going smaller is a great thing. And if you want to add on the list that you just want to live lighter on the planet, then definitely the direction is smaller, not bigger. And I get it. In our culture, we've had this whole go big or go home. You're successful if you own a big home. All of those things have wrapped into my brain, everyone's brain, by the propaganda, by lifestyles of rich and famous, right? I watched those shows like in the 90s. So they're there for us, but when other people are realizing they may have already lived big, a lot of the baby boomers have already done it. They're like, been there, done that, cleaned it, paid for the utilities, which are now increasing, right? You think energy prices are going to go up or down ever? They're always going to be going up. Every year it goes up by 10%. And then with things like COVID and, backlashes, especially in California with the fires, you're just going to see a lot. Someone's going to pay for that, right? Unlikely it's going to be government. We, the people, will end up paying for the things that a public utility is actually put together. So part of what I wanted to do on this video is not necessarily talk all about that, which I talk about, but another topic is, what do I really do? I love tiny homes, but what do I really do? And after 4 conversations today, I talked to my buddy Dave about permits and setting homes for tiny homes. I talked to my friend Jasmine about note investing for tiny homes. Her and I just did a notes in tiny homes. These are bank notes, not notes, like you're writing notes. I just talked to Meredith, Financing Whiz, and she is like the leader in financing for accessory dwelling units, which tiny homes do have a role in. I talked to my other buddy Alex today, all about certifications for tiny homes. So in one day's time frame, I talked to a number of experts, but not everyone knows where to find them. And the other thing is, let's just say someone was to come in like, hey, Lindsay, I want to buy a tiny home. I want to buy land. I want to do all those things. And they have never done that before. They've never developed. I always say, if you are a developer and you have all the money in the world, you don't need me. You already know what to do. But for many people that are passionate about tiny homes, they've seen them on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. They're like, well, which steps do I take next? I am the person that guides you to the next person, right? While also giving you a little bit of education. And the best way I can do that is not individually each person and saying the same thing 20 times over in a day. That's just too much time. I've put all of that content into the Go Tiny Academy. And what I'm about to do right after I finish this live video is go into my Final Cut and edit down 2 more videos: how to price a tiny home, how to find parking in an RV park or a mobile home park for a tiny home. And tonight on the Go Tiny Academy, we're going to review, there is a woman that's looking for placing a tiny home on family property in Tennessee, and she's trying to figure out, do I want to get a wood frame or do I want to get a metal frame? And I'm going to break down the realities of who she's going to be able to go through if she chooses wood or if she chooses metal. And then based on some of her dreams for maybe she wants to partially DIY it, all kinds of things open up, one answer takes us down a decision tree of many other answers and many other choices that you've got to get to. So that's my specialty, is taking where you're at now. And I do it with like kind of a rapid fire questioning. It's not always the same in terms of which questions. I'll enter it different directions, but I'm always going to attempt the 3 things. The 3 mantra is land, the build, and financing. And finance covers like, what's your budget? Do you need financing, right? What are some of the things that you may need to think about in regards to your financing? Little quick note, minimum 10% down payment on financing. So you're never going to get, like, let's say you want a $100,000 tiny home because you've already looked at the builder and now you've identified the home that you want. And it's $100,000, just to keep numbers simple. You're going to immediately have to come up with $10,000 cash, okay? And in some cases, you're going to need to come up with $20,000. Now, let's say you find a home that's $70,000, but you want to do permits, utilities, and setting fees, transporting, and oh my gosh, now we got to crane the thing in the backyard. All of those fees are going to be involved. And so now your $70,000 tiny home is now going to turn into maybe 100, 110, or 120. It all depends on the property and what's allowed and what's not allowed. Then we get into the whole thing. Do you need it on wheels? Why do you need it on wheels? I'm going to ask that question. And a lot of people are like, because I saw it on YouTube. Like, that's not the answer, okay? If that's your answer, we need to do a deeper dive as to why you really want to have it on wheels. And it's funny, people are like, but you're the girl that has her home on wheels. All the tiny homes are on wheels. That's what I see on TV. Au contraire. That is some of the biggest challenges that we have in this industry, is placing a home that's built to an RV standard. If it's on wheels and it's got a VIN number, that VIN number you have in your car, on a trailer, it's regulated by the Department of Motor Vehicles, right? It'll be rolling down the road. That is not the same case for homes that are built to a state building code called International Residential Code, Or in some cases, some states are calling it the Colorado Building Code or the California Building Code. It all depends on the state you're in. Or if you want to get a home that's built to the federal building standard called HUD, Housing Urban Development. So there's 4 different ways that you can build a home, but there's a bazillion of zoning standards. And so these two have to talk to each other if you want to get things permitted and all that. If you don't want to be under the radar, which opens up a certain risk to, is someone to come by and say, hey, someone's doing something that they shouldn't be doing, I'm going to tell. And now you've got a code enforcement knocking on your door. That's under the radar. Most of this industry has been under the radar, but we are having major strides. In fact, most recently, I'm going to start with the most recent one, which is Santa Cruz County just passed a historic zoning law that allows you to put a movable tiny home built to ANSI or NFPA, because it's literally written in the ordinance. It's going to have all these features, going to have siding, can have metal mechanical equipment on the roof. It's got to have square windows with residential windows. There's a number of other things in the ordinance. But for the first time, you can put a movable tiny home on a piece of property in Santa Cruz County, which means you're also breaking through all of those minimum size requirements. That's the other big one. Let's say it's not Santa Cruz County and it's San Mateo County, right next door, right? I'm talking California here. It could be anywhere all in the country. And they have a minimum size requirement. Actually, I do know recently, I think it was Los Angeles County, somewhere in the 450 to 500 square foot minimum size of a home. So if the home that you want is 250, that's not going to work. The other thing is if you're in an area that does not allow ANSI or building to an RV standard, then you're going to have to go to the other two, the IRC or the HUD. So as you can see already, if I'm telling you these acronyms and you're kind of like, where is she going with this? It's a lot to figure out. And it's because we never got any of this education in school. And I'm not saying we had to. There's a lot to talk about when you're younger and to figure out. But if you want to develop property and you want to live in a tiny home and you want to live in a community, then you're going to have to become pretty much an expert in the world of understanding building standards and zoning laws and how they talk to each other. And then the world of who are the builders that I should trust and what kind of homes are they building? What are they certified to? What kind of building standards are they building to? And then we bring in the financial component, because not every financing company will finance depending on the building standard you're looking for. So as you can see by now, if any of you were like, okay, I thought I wanted to go tiny, but now I'm tired. That's okay. I got you. I got you with the Go Tiny Academy. I put my brain into this really cool program called Kajabi through a series of training videos and all kinds of things. And out the other side are people that are far more knowledgeable about all of these things as it relates to smaller houses around the country and the globe. I've just been to a number of countries on a cruise, so I'm pretty much guaranteed that every country needs tiny homes, right? Every country, especially what's going on with refugees coming into Europe from Ukraine, what just happened with Turkey. I mean, the amount of housing that is needed just to help the missing middle, maybe to help people reduce their mortgages and put someone in the backyard, all the way to people that are unhoused and need shelter. And they need a locking door, roof over the head, electricity to write, their resumes to and get a job and, have an address, all of those basic things, everything and more inside this cute little industry we call the tiny home industry. So I am so honored and excited. It's 2023. I've been doing this since 2017 was when we had our own epiphany. And it's just getting better and better. The fact that I rattled off all those people that I was on one day on a call with. In the call I just had with the guy, I'm like, if you're in college, I'm like the 101 and he's like the 201, right? You're not talking to him unless you have an APN number, an accessor parcels number that is associated to the piece of land. He's been on a call with someone like, well, maybe I'm thinking of this property or that property. You're still looking. That's where you need me. You don't need him yet. So it's really kind of knowing who you need next that will really help you on your journey, or you can get swirled around and kind of let the dream dissolve. We don't want to let the dream dissolve. No. We want to activate the dream and stay with the dream. And for a measly amount of $97, that's what we're offering. That's for the base program. You go into the academy, you watch all the videos, yada, yada. Any of the Go Tiny VIP live meetups that we do weekly will always be put back into that. You just won't be able to be there live. So if you want to have more live access to me, as well as meet a community of like-minded people, that's for the Go Tiny Academy VIP. VIP stands for very important project, because anyone that says, you know what, I want to spend $100,000, and right now the program is only $397. So let's just say, what is for $397 divided by $100,000? That's 0.00397 of your budget. Even if I added another $100 to that, which I'm actually looking to doing, do you think you'd be able to learn something that I might know that could help you avoid any wasting of time, energy, or money? I can tell you from a few of my Academy graduates, already in the first few weeks of their academy, a few of them wanted to go a certain path with a builder. And I was like, kind of hearing some negative things. Sure enough, they went out of business and stole hundreds of $1,000s of deposits. The other one is, oops, I bought land and now who I'm working with as a builder, it's not going to work. There's a reason for that, because they didn't match the building standard with the zoning law. Bless you, bless you. If you go buy land and not know what you're going to be planning for in terms of entitling it, that is a whole bunch of money you're risking. Let's not do that. Okay. So we cover all kinds of topics. In fact, largely the conversation has gone the direction of developing, raising money for investments. So if that attracts you, great. But if it's also just, I want to put something on a person's property, that's also a thing we talk about. And if it's for, I just want to find the right builder and I want to know the right questions to ask, that's also in there. So super excited to have you all here. I will be putting a link. Oh my gosh, here we go. Now I'm going to open the chat. Oh, type a message. Let's see. This is Restream.io. This is my second one. So I will put the link into the chat, comment, whatever it is. I can't post to some channels. Okay, can't post messages to some channels. I will put that in there. I think it went to YouTube and Facebook. I'm not sure if it was a group or whatnot. So the LinkedIn, sorry everyone, we'll go back and find that live and put that comment in there. Basically, welcome to the Go Tiny Academy, because that is where so many dreams have been realized. And I'm excited to help you realize your dreams on what is your best next step. And before I leave, I want to let you know where you can find me in person, because we got some amazing events. I'm going to put them in, let's see, Bakersfield Home and Garden Show. Bakersfield Home and Garden Show is happening. See, I should have had this already in my notes. So this is a good thing to learn. Garden Show is February 24th to 26th. So for people that really want to get to know about tiny homes, if they're right for them, go check them out, go be in them. I flew from California to Texas just so I can get my butt inside a tiny home, because I knew Jay Schaefer, the godfather of tiny homes, the one that started all of this long ago, but he built these cute little adorable things that were like under 200 square feet. And my husband and I with our dog, I'm like, nope, I want something like in the 300 square foot, which is what we ended up with. So Tiny Home Village in Fresno is the weekend after that. We got a lot of events happening in Southern California. If you can't make it for one, we've literally got them stacked for 3 weeks straight, back-to-back weekends. Central California. So Tiny Home Village in Fresno. And that is Tiny Home. We have so many names. It's the Home and Garden Show Fresno. And that is March 4th through the 6th. There we go. And then the next one is going to be Tiny Fest. That's big. This is only a tiny home show. The other ones are home and garden shows, which are super awesome, but they're also bringing in tiny homes. So if one weekend doesn't work, another one can. So that's Tiny Home California. That's in Del Mar. And that is March 11th through the 12th. Boom. And then if you're like, okay, can't go to Southern California, too far away, Sonoma County Home and Garden Show. We just added that just recently. So it could be a big show, small show. And for sure, there will be 2 tiny homes there from Mendo Tiny Homes. And they are going to be March 18th through the 19th. And we have a special opportunity to actually put only one tiny home is allowed at Vine Ears in Berkeley. And that is April 6th, my birthday, through the 8th in Berkeley, California. So I'm going to go back into all of those comments that I posted because I don't have the links yet. Next time I will do that and make sure I have that all teed up. But those are the shows. You can easily type in any one of those in Google and find them if you don't already see those commented links in there. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. I hope you've had a beautiful time, and let's go tiny.